Aris, it's great to see you today, and thank you for joining me for a discussion around the innovation mindset. And I look forward to your sharing your experience and insights and tips on innovation that will be helpful for whether someone is a first-time innovator or quite seasoned. So as we get started here, it would be terrific if you would just review your background, and particularly when you first knew that you had that innovation spirit in you. We're going to talk a little bit about DNA and the innovation. So share that with us, please.
Lorraine, always a pleasure, and you never start with the easy question, and I'm grateful for that because we'll get the tough one out of the way. Is it or isn't it in one's DNA? So I was an undergrad student in London, in England, and my family was visiting me for Christmas in London, we happened to be, and I was as sick as a dog. And my mom brings into the hotel room the Times, and it had an ad for this competition for an essay to predict a technological advance in the next 25 years. And I sat down and I wrote a thing on artificial photosynthesis. There was no internet at the time, you had to handwrite all of this. And I won the UK version of this big award sponsored by Honeywell and CNN and so on, and then the European one. And that's when I realized that doing something different is entirely possible with what you've already got. But that was the key. With what you've already got, it was welling from inside, and then I followed this path.
Wow. Well, I think that some of those first-time stories when you're young are oftentimes the telling ones, and the ones that as you get older and look back on your life arc or career journey, you realize that that was something pivotal that really changed things for you going forward. So share with us now this concept that you have around innovation being part of your DNA. Obviously that experience sparked it, but what is it that creates that innovation mindset? What are the particular qualities and attributes that you think are associated with it?
You know, Lorraine, it wasn't obvious at first, but I had the good fortune of being part of a number of teams that founded new companies, raised money, grew them, and exited. And I learned a lot from some of the best at doing this, and saw that the participation in it by all of these people was really from within. But then, so they had something in their DNA, as we talked about, but that's not sufficient. You have to have a process, you have to have the drive and the opportunities, and then the context and the support group around you to do it. That's why I'm a fan, I say it again, of the way that you prioritize the steps, you sequence them, and how you propose that innovation is not just something that comes from within, that I have certainly seen, but it can be nurtured and made so much more powerful if you put it in a construct. That's what I have observed many, many times.
Yes, and I think that, this idea of having that spirit, that culture for innovation, a natural curiosity, a desire to solve problems, not being satisfied with the status quo, those are really some of the ingredients. But as you point out, there's a discipline to it as well, and there is a process. And I've noticed that there are many instances where an individual or an innovator becomes very enamored with their innovation, their cool technology, and then they try to find a problem to solve. So it's really a good idea to understand the problem that you're trying to solve first, and then go through that process of brainstorming and thinking through solutions and market fit, and then in a rigorous way, to bring that testing.